Bro, you ever feel tired, but not tired enough to stop? Like you're still getting up, still going to work, still answering texts, still showing up to things, but something's just off. You're not crying in the shower or having some dramatic breakdown. You're not calling in sick. You're not falling apart in any visible way. You're just running on empty, and somehow still running. And the weirdest part? If someone asked you what's wrong, you wouldn't even know what to say. Because nothing is technically wrong. You're fine. You're handling it. You're good. Except you're not. And you low-key know it. Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. It's called invisible burnout. And it's probably one of the most common things happening to people right now that nobody really talks about. Because it doesn't look like burnout. It doesn't feel dramatic enough to count. It just feels like being kind of tired all the time, for no clear reason. And once you actually understand what it is, you start seeing it everywhere, including in yourself. So, let's get into it. Okay, so first, let me just explain what invisible burnout actually is. Because when most people think of burnout, they think of the movie version. You know, someone who just snaps one day, quits their job, has a full mental breakdown, goes off the grid, starts a pottery business in the mountains or whatever. Like, dramatic burnout. The kind that forces you to stop. But invisible burnout? It's not like that at all. Invisible burnout is when you're exhausted, but still functioning. You're still doing the things, still meeting the deadlines, still replying to people, still showing up. From the outside, you look completely fine, maybe even productive. But on the inside, you're cooked, like genuinely running on fumes. And the tricky part is, because you're still going, it doesn't register as burnout, not to other people, and honestly, not even to yourself sometimes. You just think, I'm tired, I need a vacation, I need better sleep, I need to drink more water or whatever. But it's not that. It's deeper than that. It's like your internal battery isn't just low, it's damaged. And no amount of charging is bringing it back to full. But you keep using the phone anyway, because what else are you going to do? And that's the thing about invisible burnout. It doesn't stop you. It just hollows you out while you keep moving. Okay, so here's the second thing that makes this so hard to catch. When you're still functioning, it feels like you don't have permission to be burnt out. Like, there's this weird mental thing where you look around and you're like, well, I'm still doing stuff, so I must be okay. You compare yourself to people who actually crashed, people who had to take medical leave, people who literally couldn't get out of bed. And you're like, that's not me. I'm fine. But here's what's actually happening. You're using your ability to keep going as proof that you don't need to stop. Which is insane when you think about it. It's like saying, well, I can still walk on this broken ankle, so it must not be broken. Nah, bro. It's broken. You're just tough, or stubborn, or scared of what happens if you actually stop. And the world rewards this. That's the crazy part. Nobody checks on the person who's still performing. Nobody worries about the one who's still showing up. They worry about the one who falls apart publicly, the one who makes it obvious. But you're handling it, so you must be fine. And you start to believe that. Even though your whole system is screaming for a break, you convince yourself you don't deserve one. Because you're still going. So it doesn't count. That's invisible burnout. It hides behind your own competence. Now here's where it gets a little weird. Because invisible burnout doesn't always feel like tiredness. Sometimes it shows up as nothing. Like emotional flatness. You're not sad exactly. You're not happy either. You're just there. Things that used to excite you, they don't really hit the same anymore. Hanging out with friends? It's fine, but you don't feel much. Accomplishing something? Cool, but there's no real satisfaction. Weekends? They come and go and you don't even remember what you did. It's like someone turned down the volume on your emotions. Everything is just muted. And you might not even notice at first, because you're still doing things, still functioning. But if you really check in with yourself, you realize you haven't actually felt excited about anything in a while. You haven't laughed that real laugh in a minute, the one where you actually lose it. You're just kind of existing, going through the motions, checking the boxes. That's not just being tired. That's your nervous system saying, "Bro, I've got nothing left to give you." And the wild part is, this can go on for months, even years, because it doesn't scream at you. It just quietly drains you while you keep performing. Here's another thing about invisible burnout that messes with people. It makes you feel disconnected from everything. Like, you're in conversations, but you're not really there. You're around people, but you feel weirdly alone. You're doing your life, but it doesn't feel like your life. It feels like you're watching someone else do it. There's this strange distance between you and everything, and it's hard to explain to anyone, because from their perspective, you're right there. You're present, you're talking, you're responding. But inside, you feel like you're behind glass or something, like you can see everything happening, but you can't quite touch it, can't quite feel it. And this is confusing as hell, because you're like, why do I feel so disconnected? Nothing bad happened. I'm not going through anything major. But that's the thing. Invisible burnout doesn't need a big event. It's usually the result of slow accumulation, little stresses, constant low-level pressure, always being on, never fully resting. It builds up so gradually that you don't notice the distance forming, until one day you realize you can't remember the last time you felt fully present, fully engaged, fully alive. And that's a weird thing to admit, because again, you're fine, you're functioning, you're doing your life, but you're doing it from somewhere far away, like you're remote controlling yourself. That disconnect? That's your brain protecting itself. It's checking out because staying fully present would cost too much. But it doesn't feel like protection. It just feels like something's wrong with you. And the worst part? You start thinking it's a personality thing. Like, maybe I'm just not an emotional person. Maybe I'm just naturally detached. Maybe this is just who I am now. But it's not. It's exhaustion wearing a mask, and you've been wearing it so long you forgot what's underneath. Okay, so here's the last thing I want to explain, and this is probably the most frustrating part. When you're invisibly burnt out, normal rest doesn't really help. Like, you take a weekend off, you sleep in, you watch some shows, you try to relax, and then Monday comes, and you feel exactly the same. Maybe even worse. Because now you're like, I just rested. Why am I still exhausted? And you start thinking something is seriously wrong with you. Like, maybe you're broken or something. But here's what's actually happening. Invisible burnout isn't fixed by a weekend. It's not fixed by one good night's sleep. It's not even fixed by a vacation sometimes. Because it's not regular tiredness. It's accumulated depletion. Think of it like this. Regular tiredness is like, you went to the gym and your muscles are sore. Rest them for a day or two and you're good. But invisible burnout? That's like, you've been overtraining for months without proper recovery. Your whole system is inflamed. Your capacity is reduced. You can't just take one rest day and bounce back. It takes longer. It takes different things. It takes actually stopping, not just pausing. And most people never actually stop. They just pause, take a breath, then go right back to it. So the tank never refills, the damage never heals, and you just keep running on less and less, until running on empty becomes your normal. And you forget what full even felt like. That's invisible burnout. It's not dramatic. It's not obvious. It's just Slow erosion that happens while you're still performing. And the craziest part? You can go years like this, thinking you're fine, thinking you're just tired, thinking everyone feels this way. Until one day you realize, no, this isn't normal. Something has been wrong for a while, and you just didn't let yourself see it. So yeah, that's invisible burnout. It's the exhaustion that doesn't have a clear cause, the tiredness that doesn't earn you sympathy, the depletion that hides behind your ability to keep going. It looks like functioning. It feels like emptiness, and it tricks you into thinking you're fine, because you're still doing the things. But doing the things and being okay are not the same thing. You can be productive and depleted at the same time. You can be successful and running on fumes. You can be handling it and falling apart internally. And most people don't recognize it until way later. Because there's no dramatic moment, no clear breaking point, just a slow fade that happens while life keeps going. And once you see it for what it is, you can't unsee it. You start noticing the flatness, the distance, the way rest doesn't restore you like it used to. And you realize, oh, this has been happening for a while. I just didn't have the words for it. Now you do. All right, if this one made you stop and think for a second, just drop a like real quick. It genuinely helps and takes like half a second of your life. And if you're not subscribed yet, I mean, you clearly vibe with this stuff, so you might as well. Just hit the button so you catch the next one. Also, if you got that one friend who's been seeming off lately, but they keep saying they're fine, yeah, send this to them. They might not even know what's going on with them. This might help. All right, that's all I got. Take care of yourself, bro. Catch you in the next one.